Hi everyone, I'm Mohammed Lal and you're watching Trendsetters Academy. So today in this lecture, I will tell you about real-time database. So the good thing is, this is the last lecture about the theory thing, and after this lecture, I will move towards the coding side, okay, or development side, and I will tell you about these things, how we use these real-time database, cloud storage, hosting, authentication, cloud function, whatever the other modules that Firebase providing us, how we use these things there. Okay, so for every app module, we have to create an awesome project, something like so easy and so simplified project that help us and create some awesome applications there. Okay, so for real-time database, I already created my project in my university life, and here you can see these two videos where I just created some sort of communication application, something like WhatsApp, or you can see a Skype type video communication, sending messages, sending images, sharing images, how to communicate with others, showing these things here, and we will discuss these things on a later stage. Okay, so let's come towards the lecture. What really real-time database is, what you really learn here about real-time database in this lecture is what is this real-time database and why we say it is real-time, what this word really means, real-time database, and how this real-time database works, and what are the benefits using real-time database instead of other databases. Why not we I use MongoDB or MySQL or SQLite or SQL Server? Why I use this real-time database? So these are the things we will learn. These four things, these things here, that what it tells about. Okay, so let's start the thing real-time database here, and what it say here is we are here storing and syncing data in real time. Here real time means is when you are communicating with the user or whatever the users are creating, or you are storing the data. When you delete or when you just edit the data, it on the same time within a blink of eye it just changed here. It's like real time communication. There's no some sort of you can say in a blink of eye the things are changing. So that's quite an awesome example. You can see this video here how these things are working and what are the things there. It's giving us a whole overview about this Firebase real-time database. Okay, so let's see about the documentation, what it say about the things here. Real-time syncing for JSON data. The Firebase real-time database is a cloud-hosted NoSQL database that lets you store and sync data between your users in real time. So the thing here is you are using JSON data. So when you are sending the data or receiving the data or updating or deleting whatever you are doing there, everything is coming in the form of JSON. So here the thing is clear that we are using JSON, and the other thing is here is the technology. The thing is using NoSQL database. So it is a NoSQL database. It's whole pure new concept. NoSQL. What really NoSQL is? It's quite another lecture we will see there. That what really NoSQL is. It's quite so different from the real SQL. Okay, and here I told you before that these technologies, Android, iOS, or webs, some sort of C++ application, or some sort of game, whatever you want to create, if you want to add or sync your database with these applications, with the website, with game, you can add this. Okay, I hope this thing is clear. Most millions of applications are using this database, okay, real-time database. So we must learn these things, how these things are getting on and how they are flourishing in the whole world, and how these things are you seeing here the collaborate across devices with ease. So real-time syncing make it easy for your users to access their data from any device, web or mobile, and it helps your users collaborate with one another. So as I told you before, it's like within a blink of eye. It's like the thing that you are chatting on some WhatsApp or on Skype or whatever the social web you are using. When you send the message, it receives wherever the other user is, on the other side, on the other edge of the world, if he is sitting there. So when you are sending message from north and it is receiving at the south within just a blink of eye. So how this thing is working, how these things are going on, can you ever imagine about the thing? So here we are seeing this thing. It's like here is the example of Firebase. Like you are sending message on the cloud, and cloud is storing the data in the real-time database, and then the message is receiving towards the other user wherever you are sending the message. So here the screen shows this thing, like you are sending a message towards the three users, and you are sending it on the cloud, and the cloud then separately send. It's like broadcasting to other users. So you can do this thing. It's so flexible and so awesome to use. So let's see what other thing here is. It's like build serverless apps. So this is quite so easy and so awesome thing here. Like I'm saying again and again, like it's so awesome because I use it and it's so flexible here. Firebase made our life, our developers' life, made really easy for us. Like we are developing here the things in previous world, in previous before the Firebase, like you are getting connections, communications, getting heavy servers, and now you are like getting securities, getting things that most of the things you have to focus on it. But now on, what really the thing is going on, what you're really going to do is just create an account on Firebase, and now go with the servers, and now just leave the things aside, and now Google will handle the servers, and now you are going towards the client and create a thing for the clients. Okay, so real-time database ships with mobile and web SDKs, so you can build apps without the need of servers. You can also execute backend code that responds the event triggered by your database using cloud function for Firebase. So as I told you, like you don't need any worry. You don't worry about the thing like what really the server is. So server is handling by the Firebase. Really, Google developers handling this Firebase, and Firebase handles your servers. Now, what you really do is just create the client application and just deliver it to your client, and just be happy and fine. Okay. So the next thing is optimized for offline users. So here is some great, great functionality of this Firebase. What it do when you are sending message? Let me give you an example of WhatsApp. I hope you everyone there are using WhatsApp or Skype or whatever the social media you are using. So what it happened when you're sending a message to your friend, and if the friend is offline, what you do? What you do? When you send the message, it's sent. But when he came to online, what it happened is it just received the message. But what happened if you are sending the message and you are offline? What you do? It say sending failed. But this thing is not happening here. Okay. So what you do here is when you are going to send message and your cell phone is your Wi-Fi is off, your internet is off. So what happened? It just go towards send. Okay, and when you connect with the Wi-Fi or there is some internet connection on, it automatically synchronize and just send the message. You don't need to say that, oh, my message is failed and now I have to send it again. So it just go towards in background and background processes and just synchronize that thing. I hope you understand the thing what I really want to say. So here is another strong users-based security. The real-time database integrates with Firebase Authentication to provide simple and intuitive authentication for developers. You can use our declarative security model to allow access based on user identity or with patterns matching on your data. So here every user has its own key. Whenever you are creating some new user, so we will see in development code in coding section that every user has its own key. So when we create some new user, when a user going to register itself, so what happened, Firebase provided him a key. On the basis of that key, that user is stored in database, and just the things are going on. It's like the main focus is on key, like they generate some 16-bit key, and it just happened with this thing. We will see and figure out the things in our coding section, and soon I will launch that coding section. Okay, and don't forget about the things. And let's come towards the document. What really document tell us and how the things are going there. I hope you understand what really the real-time Firebase and what really the things are going on around here. So let's see what really the documents here. And in these documents, what it say about the real-time database and how these things are going on and what's the real functionality about the database, real-time databases. So it store and sync data with our NoSQL cloud database. So you must focus on this, what really NoSQL is. Okay, so I hope in the next lecture when we go towards the real-time database development, there I will tell you what really NoSQL is. So data is synced across all clients in real time and remains available when your app goes offline. So that's pretty nice. It's like if you want to show that your user is online or your user is offline, as the same thing happen in WhatsApp and other social media applications. So here you can use that thing, you can use that strategy. As I told you before, in these applications that are showing here in my channel, there I showed about this, the user is online or offline, whatever the user is. It's like the thing, like online and offline. This module, how this thing is working. There are a few lines of code, and just the thing go on. The Firebase Real-Time Database is cloud-hosted database. Data is stored as JSON and synchronized in real time to every Connect client. When you build cross-platform apps with our iOS, Android, and JavaScript SDKs, all your clients share one real-time database instance and automatically receive updates with the newest data. I hope you understand this thing. So what we really need is SDK of this real-time database. So it just integrate with the Android, iOS, or JavaScript, and whatever the other things are there, whatever you want to create the thing. So here you just add that SDK there, embed it, and then just store the data in JSON formation, and the thing is go on. Okay. So here are the setups here, what the Android setup, REST API, Unity setup, admin setup, C++ setup, web setup, iOS setup. And there are some other key capabilities. This means there are some other, these are the some methodologies, there are some steps here, these are some modules here that what really it handles. So real time, what really real time mean here is, instead of typical HTTP request, the Firebase real time database uses data synchronization. Every time data changes, any connected device receive that update within milliseconds, within blink of eye. Okay, provide collaborative and immersive experiences without thinking about networking coding. So here you see, this Firebase just minimize the network code, about the how we connect with the socket, how we communicate with the database. Like when you're using or creating some sort of MySQL database or some sort of SQL Server database, there are network codes there, and we really don't need to find out how these sockets are working. So in offline mode, what really happens is Firebase apps remains responsive even when offline, because the Firebase Real-Time Database SDK persists your data to disk. Once connectivity is re-established, the client device receives any changes it missed, synchronizing it with the current server state. So that's pretty nice. So what other things are accessible from client devices? The Firebase Realtime Database can be accessed directly from a mobile device or web browser. There's no need for an application server. Security and data validation are available through the Firebase Realtime Database. Security rules, expression based rules that are executed when data is read or written. So we'll see how these things are working, like how clients are. The other thing here is scale across multiple databases. With Firebase Real-Time Database on the Blaze pricing plan, you can support your app's data needs at scale by splitting your data across multiple database instances in the same Firebase project. Streamline authentication for Firebase authentication on your project and authentication users across your database instances. Control access to the data in each database with custom Firebase real-time database rules for each database instance. We will figure out these each and everything there, each and every method there. So okay, so how this thing is working, let's see about this thing. That Firebase real-time database lets you build rich collaborative application by allowing secure access to the database directly from the client-side code. Data is persisted locally and even while offline, real-time events continue to fire, giving the end users a responsive experience. When the device regains connection, the real-time database synchronizes the local data changes with the remote updates that occurred while the client was offline, merging any conflicts automatically. The real-time database provides a flexible expression-based rules language called Firebase Real-Time Database. So there are security rules to define how your data should be structured and when data can be read from or written to. When integrated with Firebase Authentication, developers can define who has access to what data and how they can access it. The real-time database is a NoSQL database and as such has different optimization and functionality compared to real-time database. The real-time database API is designed to only allow operations that can be executed quickly. This enables you to build a great real-time experience that can serve millions of users without compromising on responsiveness. Because of this, it is important to think how users need to access your data and then structure it accordingly. So what are the methods here? So integrated the Firebase real-time database with SDK. Real-time database references are there are set data and changes with thing and enable offline persistence and you can secure your data. So looking to store other types of data, what really the other data are here. Firebase remote configuration stores developer specified key value pairs to change the behavior and appearance of your app without requiring users to download and update. Firebase hosting hosts the HTML, CSS, JavaScript for your website as well as other developer provided assets like graphics, fonts, and icons. So you can change your graphic fonts and icons using Firebase. Isn't this pretty so cool? I think this is so awesome. And the third thing is cloud storage stores files such as images, videos, audios, as well as other user generated content. So whatever you have a PDF file, your Word file, your Excel file, whatever the file is there, you just upload it and just store it. It's like if you want to share, if you want to create some sort of awesome sort of application that really using some database. Let me give you an example of WhatsApp, the most common social app here. So if you want to create that, so you can really create here. You have the tools here, you have the things here, and I think that's pretty so awesome. In my next lectures I will tell you about things, how we create an awesome sort of chat application with the user authentication there. So I think that's pretty so cool. And we will figure out the things there. If I am wrong and if I'm doing wrong and if I'm doing the things wrong, then please let me know and please tell me, so I make myself perfect for you all and teach you all how the things are going on and how these things are working. I hope you are understanding the things, and if I'm teaching in a wrong way and if I'm saying the things wrong, so please let me know about the things. I will appreciate that thing. And the next thing is, don't forget to subscribe, because your subscription needs the most, and only your subscription, on the basis of your subscription, I will create my new lectures, I will create my new things there. And the next things are going to be so awesome and so interesting, because there we are going towards the practical thing. So now our theory things is over, and for now on we will develop an awesome course there. So here in my so here in my channel, you can see I created about Android development course for the absolute beginners. So if you want to learn Android development courses, you can learn the things there. And I shared some sort of movies and my own vlogs and how the things are going on, and some cartoons. No, what really I have just done, uh, some photography and how the things are there, some macro photography. So here are the things, you can find the things here, and I'm sure what the thing you will enjoy when you see these lectures and when you figure out these things there. So I hope for the best, and thank you for your subscription, and thank you for everything. uh, have a nice day and nice coding. Bye bye, tada.